the work that's been done on the essential elements is a foundation for plant nutrition, but it's becoming increasingly clear, but that's not sufficient to fully recognize all the elements or the nutrients that can benefit agriculture. That has led us to the paper that was recently published in Plant and Soil, where we propose rethinking what we think of as a plant nutrient to also include all of those elements that are known to be beneficial to plant growth, to the quality of the product that you're harvesting, and also to the benefits for the human end consumer as well. And that's a fundamental change, and I think it's important because in many regulatory bodies around the world, the essential elements are the only elements that are recognized as plant nutrients, and hence are the only elements that can be formally recognized as fertilizers. And I think that's constraining agriculture, and I think it's constraining plant nutrition. That was the intention of the paper, and it's garnered a lot of interest globally amongst scientists, but also amongst industry and regulators as well. Yeah, in the high value cropping systems that we've done a lot of work in, nitrogen is a relatively low input into the system in comparison to the economic offtake. So if we are to think about managing nitrogen with more efficiency, we need to think about making nitrogen fertilization practices simple for growers to obtain, or simple for growers to undertake. So we've done a lot of work at looking at how nitrogen is utilized during the season. We've done a lot of work looking at how nitrogen applications can be optimized to increase their efficiency and the return on their investment. So I think understanding the biology of the crop is critically important. Targeting your nutrient applications, your nitrogen applications, to specifically meet the goals of the crop and not to be put on in excess is critically important. But for that to occur, as I said, you really have to make it approachable and easy for growers to understand and to implement those practices. So biostimulants are an interesting new agrochemical. Quite honestly, many of them may not have the functions that are proposed, but there are some of them that clearly have an impact on plant nutrition, clearly have an impact on the growth of the plant, the tolerance of plants to stress, that it tells me there are some aspects of the biology of biostimulants that are novel that we don't yet understand. And I think they have a role, at least the very best of them have a role in optimizing productivity, primarily by optimizing the efficiency with which plants use nutrients, but also optimizing the efficiency with which plants respond to stress. So it's an interesting area. It's certainly very young. There's certainly good performing biostimulants and poor performing biostimulants, and I think it's critically important to think about that science and to apply science to the biostimulant industry so that in the end we could recognize all of the benefits that exist, the potential benefits I should say, from the use of biostimulants in agriculture. I think what we have not yet learned to optimize is the microbiome. So that's the microbial populations that live in the soil, live on the plant. We've not quite yet understood how they interact with the plant to optimize how the plant responds to the environment. And I think that's been one of the great discoveries, the great new science in the last decade or so. And I think realizing how those microbial populations work with the plant, how that works with soil health, how that integrates with plant health, that's going to be the secret to optimizing productivity and nutrient efficiency in the next couple of decades. So we're still doing a lot of work in nitrogen use efficiency, but what we've been focusing on in recent years is how to work with the grower himself, how to work with the consultants who help growers to optimize how they transmit information both between the grower and the consultant, but also the grower and back to the research organization if research is being involved. I think that's been a weakness over the last few decades, that we've lost that intimate connection. And I think if we're going to optimize how nutrients are used in agriculture, we're going to have to optimize how we understand and how we relate to grower needs, how we understand and how we relate to the development of policies and good regulations. That's a primary focus. We are still focusing a lot in my lab on not only biostimulants but beneficial nutrients and how they can be used to bring our productivity up to the next level that's going to be needed to meet global demands for food and fiber